Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our series of webinars on workflows, specifically individual workflows within the Diggs suite. I know many of you that are joining us already have the Diggs suite, like Laura Anderson. Oh, happy day to you too, darling. Love you much. And this is a way of just examining a little bit of what I was thinking when I created this workflow, how I've used it, and, frankly, you probably want to know, does it work? Because, some of my workflows are more effective than others. So today I decided that this is a great time to be thinking about the open house leads, because while it's probably cold, I mean, here it was practically frigid. This morning it was like 52 degrees. I thought I was going to die of cold exposure. And I know some of you are chuckling, but hey, I'm a Californian. That's the way I roll. I know that December is really not your prime open house season, but now is the prime time to be preparing things, preparing your workflows, sharpening up your skills, sharpening up your templates and emails, so that when open house season opens, and for us, that actually opens in like February. So when open house season launches, you are going to be in a great place to making that happen and leveraging the people who visit you at the open house, and taking advantage of it. Some of you, you're only going to be seeing a few dozen people, maybe 6, 12 people at the open house. You really want to leverage those opportunities as much as possible. And for me out here, where I have, anywhere from 100 to 200 people coming through, that's a freaking load of people. It's very hard to have quality conversations. So workflows and ways to follow up with them after the open house are really critical for leveraging the time that we're investing. And I would rather be at home with my kids than at an open house if I'm not going to be really making the most of the opportunity. So here is the open house workflow that we use here at Diggs. And this is specifically when we get an open house lead that is a seller, because they need to be followed up with differently than a buyer. I think we can all agree on that, right? So it's 36 degrees there, Laura. Oh, that's just, I'm sorry, I can't deal. I don't even know what to deal with that. So here's here's our open house thing. So there are 10 steps. And the first thing that happens is when we meet a seller, primarily they are not going to be listing today. Every once in a while I'll get somebody that comes to my open house. Kendyl, I was looking for you. We're about to put our house on the market. Would you please come over, give us your listing presentation so that we can decide whether or not to hire you? That happens once in a while, but it's actually pretty rare. It's more like they come into the open house and they won't tell you actually that they're looking to sell. So there's a whole bunch of questions that we ask at open house designed to create rapport, gain trust, and get them to tell us what's really on their mind. One of the first questions we ask is, so do you live in the neighborhood or were you coming from somewhere else? And if they say they're living in the neighborhood, that's a red flag. So we say, great, so are you thinking about, are you looking for a house for a friend so they can live close to you? Or are you looking for remodeling ideas? If they say, you know what, we're looking for remodeling ideas, that's a red flag. Really? So what is it about your house that you need to change? And then they start talking. And it's usually somewhere along the lines of, we're unhappy about X, about our house, and we're trying to decide, should we remodel or should we just go ahead and buy? You see where that goes? It's a nice, simple, very natural conversation. You're not sounding salesy. You're just trying to find out how you can best help them. So now you've identified that they're thinking about selling, and in that conversation, it is always a down the road thing. Sometimes it's a few months down the road, but oftentimes it is quite a bit down the road. So what you need to do is establish trust and rapport that you are their real estate authority that they can come to for information as they're processing this decision, should I remodel or should I buy? And a lot of times it's not remodel like change the countertops in the kitchen. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it is, should I add another bedroom? Should I add a second story? Should I put in a pool? These are huge investments in their property. And from there, if you don't know this, you should be asking more questions to identify their truth. Things like, you know, have you considered the cash flow? Whereas when you're, putting in a pool, that's all cash that comes out of your pocket right now. Whereas if you buy a house with a pool, then you're going to be financing somewhere between 80 to 50% of it, whatever their down payment is, right? So you should be asking those questions, obviously. And then you're going to follow up after. Can I follow up with you and send you interesting information about the remodeling process? And they can say, yes or no, or however they want to do it. And so you get their email so that you have now permission to follow up and give them relevant, timely, useful information about their process. So the first thing that I send is the vendor list email. Now, many of you have been on my webinars about this, and you know that I create a vendor list for all of the contractors, painters, people that I've got that help me fix houses up and do all the things that we need to do in order to, sell homes or just live in them more comfortably. And it's called the digsvendors.com list. You can create a list for yourself. It could be as simple as you write them down, well, at least type them on a piece of paper, and you send them a, snail mail. The actual piece of paper, you can send it to them. We don't do paper around here, so at a minimum, I would create a PDF and I would send that attached to an email. Or if you're a little bit more tech savvy, you want to put that into a web page so that you can see how many people and who is accessing your web page. But there's lots of different ways to skin that goat. But the first one is, thanks for chatting at open house. We know the decision to sell is involved. Perhaps you need to know what remodeling is going to cost or look like. So here's my vendor, so you can start getting some quotes and bids. And I look forward to staying in touch. And then there's a PS, right? Many homeowners choose their real estate agent months ahead of the actual move. Love to chat with you, so I might be that trusted resource for you. Call me, right? So that's that call to action. And so you give them relevant, valuable information. Who wouldn't want a list of contractors and painters and landscapers and haulers and organizers and movers and all that stuff as they're trying to figure out which one should I do? Okay, so that's the first one. It's right away. It's frankly, I think, one of the most valuable ones. So it should create a warm and fuzzy feeling about you right from the get-go. Then there is the send the home value email, right? Because that's the next thing they're probably thinking about. It's like, well, we were thinking about remodeling. Maybe they made some phone calls and the contractor said, well, that's going to be a $200,000, thing. So they're like, oh my God, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that. So now we're going to send the home value, and that's like 1 week later. Okay, so this is where it gets serious. I think that it's very helpful to acknowledge what's on their mind and what's in their heart. I think that if it's all about you, I can help you, I can give you this stuff, I have all the resources, I'm the #1 agent, I can sell your house for more, I give you the best advice, it's just salesy, right? You're not going to create trust and rapport by constantly talking about yourself. I find that it's helpful to talk about them. It's like, for some of you, this is the scary part, what your home value is. It's fun to think about where you're going to go, but it's not so fun to think about the process of selling and moving. And this is acknowledging what's on their heart. It's stupid to think that they aren't scared, that they aren't stressed out. And to acknowledge it is to help them move past it, and also to help them feel like, hey, here's somebody who's not trying to sell me something. Here's somebody who's acknowledging this is really scary. I might not want to do this. It's so scary, right? So then link to an automated value report. I use homevalues.com. It's just one of those seller lead type things, but you could use what is that site that we all have access to? It's NAR. Oh, can't remember. If anybody remembers, tell me. RPR, that's it. NARRPR.com, right? So that is Real Estate Property Reports, RPR. It is run by NAR. If you are a realtor, then you have free access to the RPR site, and this allows you to generate automated home seller reports with automated values and whatnot. So that's a really easy way of doing it if you don't have a seller-generated report. We at Diggs, at Realvolve, we also give you access to Address Reporter. That is an add-on service to our CRM, but it's like Market Reports for those of you who used Market Reports with Top Producer. This is Address Reporter. It's like that, but even better. So lots and lots of sources out there for automated home value reports. Put the link in there of your choice. But then I tell them this is just a ballpark. It's a computer. The computer doesn't live in La Crescenta. They don't know. You know, computer doesn't live in Tennessee. Computer doesn't live in, you know, whatever neighborhood. I'm the one who lives here. I'm the one who knows the nuances and how this block is exponentially more expensive than this other block. And the computer has no idea that there's a block by block difference in value. I do. So we let them know individual assessment, and then we're acknowledging we're trying to gain your trust so that, you know, you'll call us if you decide this is what you need to do. Okay, so that's the second letter. I hope you're getting a sense of the tone of voice and the thought behind communicating with sellers. This sell bullshit that is propagated by, you know, almost all of these internet sites. You know, Boomtown is probably a big exception to that. It's, you know, I don't think it serves us as real estate agents. Then there's a call, right? Because you sent them this email. You know, so it's 7 days, 1 week. So, you know, right the next day, you should call them and say, hey, were you interested in your home value? Did you click on that report? What did you think of that value? Does that resonate, or did you feel like it was off? Because, you know, I got a copy of that report and I kind of thought it was off. Right? So, you know, that's a great way to follow up with a phone call. And you know me, and many of you have been on my webinars, you know that I'm pretty twitchy about the phone. I don't like calling people. But calling people for a really specific reason, that's an easier phone call to make. All right, so the next email is the as-is email. If you don't already, yeah.
Hey, can I get you to hide your history on the left-hand side and expand your window? You're off on the side just a little bit. You can't see everything. Or drag
The Safari thingy?
just drag your window over a little bit. That way we can maximize that at the top. Just grab your border at the top and just drag
it. I'm trying to. It doesn't want to do it. Safari is not my favorite, I have to say. Not working.
Or hit your green circle to maximize it. You can do that.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Right, you're looking at questions for me, right? Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay. Is that better?
Much better. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. All right. So now I have to go back to the workflow. Hang on a quick second while I find it. Open house. Sell it. There we go. All right. All right. So let's get back to it. Can I make this window bigger? No? Okay, all right. All right, so where were we? As is email. All right, so this is the as is email. So in this particular case, the idea is that lots and lots of sellers are afraid of the work that you're going to make them do if they have to sell their house, right? They're like, oh my God, I can't tell you how many times a potential seller has said to me, well, I don't want to remodel the kitchen. And I always look at them and go, what makes you think you need to remodel the kitchen? Well, I know that houses with new kitchens sell better. It's like, well, that's true, but I sell homes with kitchens that are not newly remodeled all the time. So, you know, you don't have to do that. And they're being a little like crazy. They're just, what they're doing is that they're communicating their fear to you, their fear of the work of selling the house, and so they want to know, can I sell the house in as is? And that's exactly what it is. Tell me what I have to do. is the subject. So can you tell, can I sell it as is? And he said, of course you can, right? And like in my area, it's been a really hot market. So, you know, you don't even have to do, you know, even lift your little pinky. But if you're willing to invest a little, then you might be able to make a lot. And so we tell them what their options are, from nothing at all to a full remodel. Most should be somewhere in between. I give them the top 5 things that sellers can do, which is clean and declutter, right? And then if you have some collateral, so this is where you need to be looking carefully at the resources that your brokerage has. If you're with one of the big box brokerages, they produce a ton of collateral. Collateral is going to be a pamphlet, a flyer, a video. You know, God only knows, but you know, I used to be with Coldwell Banker. Most of you know that. Coldwell Banker's problem wasn't that they didn't have enough tools for their agents. Their problem was they had so many, their agents didn't know what they had. Right? So this is a great opportunity to follow up with your marketing coordinator, if you're with your KW, your market center, you know, each one of the large big box brokerages, they will be so freaking delighted that you've asked them what resources do they have. I would be surprised if they didn't do a backflip for you, okay? If you're with an independent brokerage or you're just an agent, you know, in a small office, you know, consider creating some collateral that you create it once and then you can use it in a bunch of different ways. So one of our favorite pieces of collateral is the Diggs 50 Top Tips for Selling. And it's just a collection of the 50 top things that you can do to make money, ranging from make sure there's a fresh roll of toilet paper, to change out all the knobs on your kitchen cabinets, to, well, if you're going to do anything that really is made, consider painting your house inside and out, right? It's a lot of money, but it makes a huge, you know, profit-making investment, right? So, you know, consider doing something like that if you don't already have access to it, and then you can just link it into these letters. Okay, so as is, that's another big fear. As you can see, I'm thinking about all of the top fears and considerations that sellers have around selling a home. And one by one, I'm trying to knock these little chess pieces down and saying, look, you know, I make it easier for you. Look, I make it easier for you. Look, I make it easier for you. Okay, here's an email. Which comes first? Because in many cases, the fear is they need to sell their house before they can buy a house, right? Or they're going to have to do contingent. So which comes first? So that's a letter that it talks about this whole concept of going from house A to house B, and how do you keep from being homeless? And the answer is you might not be able to. I mean, that's just the truth. At least here in California, making an offer contingent on the sale of your house is a no-fly zone. It's not going to happen. So if you need the equity from your house in order to buy a house, I think it's a lot kinder that you tell people that now. Again, this is under the heading of it is much better to be truthful and to help your clients, your potential clients, understand what it is that they're walking into, rather than try to hide those scary things, thinking that you want to reel them in and get them committed to selling a house before you tell them full truth that they're probably not going to be able to sell a house and buy a house non-contingent, right? So this is a letter that just pretty much spells it out for them and makes it super obvious, because in my market with my clientele, people do a lot better with the truth than they do with slick sales slogans. All right, so that's which comes first. And then again, this is a great not only time to call, but a great reason to call, because that subject of how do I go from house A to house B, any of you who are, you know, experienced listing agents, you know this is a huge topic. It is not something to be handled in a 60-second video. It is not something that could be adequately handled in that brief video, email. I mean, you saw it. It's not particularly large. I'm not into writing novels in my emails because nobody's going to read them. So follow up with a phone call. Say, hey, did you get that email about that? Is that a situation that resonates for you? Do you need to sell your house before you buy? Would you like for us to sit down for a strategy session on how that's going to work? We can talk about logistics, money, timing. We can talk about alternatives. We can talk about, there's a lot of ways for me to help you get from house A to house B. And part of your planning process, that would probably help. When can I come over? Okay, so calling for the order. All right, money matters email. This is another big subject. They're thinking that they can sell their house for $500,000 and they're going to buy a much better house for the same money. I know that sounds ridiculous now that I've said that, but trust me when I tell you that a large majority of the people coming into open house trying to decide should they buy or sell, should they sell and buy, or should they remodel, many of them have not thought through the money. They're just going, oh my gosh, yes, I can do that. And you're like, okay, how's that going to work? And they just look at you and they blink and they have absolutely no idea. Money matters. What's the email that's attached to this one? Mortgage of own home. Okay, 0012. 12. Here we go. Okay, so if they already own a home, they need to find out what they can qualify for. And trust me again when I say to you that they don't think they need to do this. They think they're golden. They're a homeowner, they've got tons of equity in their house, and they're going to be able to buy a much better house because they have so much equity. Okay? So you need to tell them the questions that they should be asking so that they can start focusing in on these granular things to help them make good decisions, and then give them a way of getting their answers. So put in there, you can get these things from Jennifer Cho or Shay Case. Those are the two lenders that we're currently referring out. And, these are professionals. They love to help people prepare a move, even if it's in the future, because people are all like squirrely about calling the professionals, you included, until they're ready to actually sign a contract, because they think that they're wasting your time. And they're not thinking about how we would love for them to, quote unquote, waste our time, because we would love to develop that trust and rapport so they'll do business with us, right? So that is the thinking there, that they need to start doing that research, and you're giving them the tools. That's the cool thing. You're not only raising the questions that they are probably thinking about, but maybe not on a conscious level. Then you're saying, you're bringing these thoughts and these fears to the conscious level, and then you're saying, I have a resource to solve this question for you, to answer this question for you. I'm telling you the easiest, fastest, most painless way to get this question answered, because now that I've told you that you should ask it, you know that you should ask it, and I'm telling you how to get it answered. So, right? Then at the same time, so 4 weeks, 31 days, same thing, there's a signal to the lender that you should call. Now, you may or may not be comfortable doing this because it might feel kind of creepy to your client, this person that your lender called. You just got this email saying you should call the lender and do this research, and then the lender calls you. You may or may not be comfortable with that. This is all of my emails. I get to choose. I have it set so that I can edit it before it goes out, and probably more than half of the time I don't send the signal to lender because I haven't really talked to them. I've been sending these emails, but when I call, they don't pick up the phone and I leave a message, right? If I don't have a rapport going with them, I'm probably not going to send this signal to lender email. But let's just say that you're talking to them, or you followed up on this particular one, the money manners one, and they said, oh yeah, that was a really helpful thing. I might say, hey, is it okay if I have the lender call you? And they'll say, oh yeah, that'd be really great. So here's the signal to lender, and it's just obviously an email that goes to your lender that says, hey, I've got permission for you to call this person. Here's their contact information. As you can see, we've utilized merge fields so that I don't have to type out their name and their phone number and their email and whatnot. It all auto fills right in there. So I love me my time savers. All right. Then the other thing is that they may not be looking to remodel. Maybe they're looking to leave the area. I meet lots of seniors, and I got to be real careful with that term senior, because at this point I are one of those. But people who are at the point where retirement and the ability to change their lifestyle is insights now. And insights is different for everybody. I've had people come in and they say, I'm looking to do something because I'm going to retire in 3 years. and they're so excited about the retiring and where their life is going to go and the choices that they get to make, that they're out there looking and preparing for what to do with their house 3 years in advance. It's more likely that they're a year ahead, but I've had them that far out. So here's something that I think is great for those people. And it's funny, I've known about Address Reporter way before Dave started talking to them. But here is the, what is the name of the email? I know people, which comes first? Dagnabbit, what is the email called? It is called Reload Tools, duh. Okay, so here's Reload Tools. And so these are just two websites that I know of that are super useful to someone who is exploring where they might want to go. So let's just say that they aren't going to be moving so they can be close to grandchildren. They're just moving because they can, and it's 36 degrees where they live right now, and they'd like to go to some place like, say, Glendale, California, Laura. They want to go from that to Glendale, California, where 55 degrees is considered unusually cold and freezing. But they don't know anybody in California, in Glendale. But Laura, of course, you're going to refer me. But let's just say it's not Laura, it's somebody else, and you don't like the way I talk, and you don't know who you're going to refer them to. You can just say, hey, look, you can go to this zip lookup and find out about the people who live in the neighborhood. What's the address for that one? That one's a good one. It is, here, let me show it to you. So this is a fun one. It's esri.com. And I'm not sure why it's not just zip lookup. That's what the website looks like when you put it up. But it's this really super cool website, and you just put in the zip code that you're interested in, and it just puts out all kinds of neighborhood and census tract information about how educated they are, and what they make, and what their ethnic makeup is, because it's census data, so that's okay. You didn't do it; they did it, and it's census data. So what the ethnic makeup is. It also gives descriptions like, this neighborhood is filled with urban hipsters. This neighborhood is filled with, millennials. This neighborhood is filled with, techies. It's just an interesting site. So there's that one. And then Address Reporter is a marvelous site. It really is. And we have an exclusive relationship with them as a CRM that's hooked up directly with them, and they give you just all kinds of specific information about, like, for example, air quality. What's the air? Which in LA, granted, that's actually a pretty important thing to know. It gives you, air quality measurements for that particular address, along with an automated value and what the school reports are, and a bunch of other really fun data, what the walk score is, and stuff like that. So if you're exploring an area and you don't know that you want to move to that is a fantastic resource, and so you can send out that email. And frankly, it's a fun one. If they said they're trying to decide whether they're going to remodel their house or just move to something within the neighborhood, you could easily tweak the information on that one to just say, hey, I know you said you were going to buy a house in the neighborhood, but on the off chance that you're thinking about other neighborhoods, here are these great resources, right? So you could certainly edit to per situation, and you guys know me, I like to review my emails before they go out. Automatic emails without review, or they're scary making. Then here's the last one, and I'm not sure if this is something that you can modify for somebody who's definitely going to stay within the neighborhood. Maybe you just don't send this one. But this is with the idea of they're going to be relocating somewhere. At a minimum, people because you're part of the Realvolve tribe. And we are a huge community. And as far as I can tell from the people who are posting on the Realvolve Facebook community, we are all twitchy in very similar ways. We all have huge priorities for customer service. We're very, very interested in making sure that details are handled rather than just letting them, if they resolve, great. If they don't, we don't care. We're not those snap a lockbox on and just don't look back. And since we are a like-minded community, at a minimum, people because people within Revolve user community. But these people, they're going to be going out somewhere. They may need a real estate agent who can give them the color that Zip Code Finder can't, right? Because I often say this, in my advertisings, Zillow doesn't live here. I do, right? I know where the best coffee is. I know where the best dog park is. I know where the school that maybe doesn't have great school scores, but has the most dedicated teachers I've ever seen, and they're phenomenal, and you got to go there, right? Or where the best preschools are, right? It's just, I know that. Zillow will never know that. No website will ever know that, but I do, and you do, right? So maybe what they need is a referral to a real estate agent that now they've come to know you. It's been a month. Let's see, how long has this been? This one goes at, I've forgotten how long this is. This is 6 weeks. They've gotten to know you over 6 weeks, and they've probably come to appreciate that you're not trying to convince them to sell their house. They probably have gotten to the point where they trust you, because who else has been sending them such valuable information instead of, auto emails from the MLS of houses that have come on the market in their neighborhood. That's what everybody else is doing. You've actually been sending them information that they can use, and solving their problems and helping them understand the scope of their decisions. So, if you refer them an agent, their expectation is that the agent you refer has similar trust factors, and they're probably going to welcome you doing this. Now, the truth of the matter is I haven't had anybody take me up on this, but I'm confident that if they did, it's because they really have gotten to the point where they trust me. So that is the open house workflow. As always, we are going to be offering this workflow as a standalone sale for just the next 2 weeks until just before the holidays, and we're going to offer that at $99. So if you want to order this one workflow because you're not ready to invest in the entire suite of Diggs workflows, which are available for $5.99, you just want this one for $99, go to go.realvolve.com. Go.realvolve.com/VA for virtual assistant. Go.realvolve.com/VA and click on the promotional workflow box, and check off that you want the promotional workflow, and we will get that to you quick as a link, right? And that will be yours. And take a look at it and use it in good health. Hopefully it will get you some business. Okay, I see this one question. How do I look into the address reporter add-on? Mark, you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. So any user of Realvolve can go into the settings area under users and permissions, and if you'll go in there on your screen.
Okay. Those settings.
You need to click on that OK button there to get rid of it. And on the left-hand side, click on Users and Permissions.
Users and Permissions. There we go. Users and Permissions.
There is a section there for address report. And on most people, it'll be in the off position. You can turn it on. You'll get 60 days for free and get to play with it, see if it does what you want it to do. And if it does, then there is a charge of $39 a month to have that feature and for the first user, and I think it's $20 for each additional user of your system. So if you want to turn it on for certain users, you're able to do that. But it's a great way to make those communications and stuff like Kendyl said. But this gives you the opportunity to play around with it for 60 days for free.
So it's a super suite. I've been experimenting with it, as is my job here as the alpha user in Realvolve. And what's super cool about it is that we all know that it would be a good idea to give our clients an annual market analysis of their property. But come on, that's especially at my point. I've been doing this for 28 years, so we're talking, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses. It's just not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So Address Reporter is a fantastic way to attach that to your client's address. Set them up, tell them that you're going to be sending this, and then what Address Reporter does is it sends an email every time something changes related to that particular home address. So it's not just the value, which is so cool. It sends an email to me when my home value updates, but it also sends me an email when something new right in the neighborhood is listed. And it sends me an email when things like, I got an email the other day because there was a huge increase in the air quality around my neighborhood. And it was because it rained and it washed away all the smog. But, be that as it may, it was super cool to get that email because, and of course, everything is branded with my name and my company. And so it makes me feel like somebody's watching out of my particular property and letting me know things that impact the value and the quality of life of my property. So it's super cool. Yeah, I'm wildly enthusiastic that Dave was able to get us this integration. Okay, so that was kind of it. Is there any other questions that I can answer for you guys?
There was a question about if they purchased digs a few months ago, is this included? I answered yes, but you might want to go into detail on that.
Yeah, yes, it is. So here's what's included in the digs suite. So this is what your why won't go? Okay, this is what your workflow library looks like in your particular Revolve account, and this is what you do. You just click on workflows, and it will show you all. In fact, I'll just click on it so it refreshes. So this is all the workflows that are in your account, and if you bought them from other places, you might have them. But here's all of the digs workflows that are in your account, and you should see digs lead gen dash open house seller. I tried to group them by function, so things that pertain to buyers, things that pertain to follow-up, things that pertain to lead gen are all grouped together so that you can find them a little more easily. But yes, you should have the lead gen open house along with 13 other workflows. So if you don't have the dig suite yet, these are the 14 that are included. For the buyers, we have from open house lead to following up 1 time a week or 2 times a month. And then we have going into escrow and then what happens after escrow, one of my finest workflows in my opinion. And then after close, and then also getting the reviews. So that's all included. Then for sellers, we have the following up, of course, 1 time a week, but we also have the listing appointment workflow, the open house seller workflow, this is lead gen, sorry. Yeah, so listing appointment, then once you get the listing, we have the listing marketing, and once you finish the marketing, we have listing maintenance, because, if you're like me, you do everything up front. And then once that's done, then your roles kind of change. So listing maintenance workflow is a little bit different, and then once you sell it, you can have processing the offers. Actually, I had to write that one because here there's just multiple offers are common, and it's easy to get all twisted up on processing offers. So there's workflow for that, and then once you accept an offer, going into escrow. I do not have an after close workflow for sellers because I haven't figured out how to be valuable to a seller, because theoretically they sold, and if they didn't buy, because if they bought in the area, then they're going to be buyer after close. If they didn't buy, it means that they sold and they left the area. And how the heck am I going to be relevant to them in Timbuk 3? I haven't figured it out. If anybody has any ideas for me, give them to me. I'll write the workflow. I'll give it to you for free, and then I'll add it to the digs to the workflows that are available for sale. But in any case, that's what we've got here for digs suite and workflows.
Very good.
Anything else? Okay. All right, so just to sum this up then, the open house for sellers workflow is available for sale, $99 as a promotional workflow, limited time. It's only available for 2 weeks. And it is a entryway into the entire Dig Suite, which is $5.99 for 14 workflows as opposed to $99 for one. So $5.99 for 14 different workflows that takes you from contact to contract and beyond, and that's available for $5.99. So, but you can start with this open house workflow for 99 bucks just for the next 2 weeks. Okay.
And
Mark, is there anything that you want to add?
well, just as a bonus, if you get that $99 and you want to go up to the full suite, then we do allow you a credit up to a
Oh
certain.
yeah, forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we credit you. So it's just a pretty painless way, actually, of taking a look at the quality of what I've created, and see if it's right for you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Well,
Kendall. Good job.
oh, you're always welcome. Thank all of you guys for being on the webinar. As always, we'll be posting the recording to our Facebook community page, and I'm always available for questions. Post it on the community, PM me on Facebook, or you can always email me, Kendyl, Kendyl, @revolve.com. Awesome, guys. Thanks. We will talk to you later.
Have a great day. Bye.